Stand for pledge allegiance by Trustee Rick Snagowski.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Latzer absent, Chaldekas absent, Miklos?
Yes.
Snagowski?
Yes.
Stapleton?
Yes.
Virgilio?
Yes.
Next on the agenda is a consent agenda, which consists of the approval of minutes for the March 10th, 2014 Village Board meeting, the March 10th Committee of the Whole meeting, the March 17th Committee of the Whole meeting. Approval of disbursements, an ordinance amending Title V of the Lemont Municipal Code related to business license and regulations, an ordinance supplementing the Gateway Tip Increment Redevelopment Project and plan for the 2013 redevelopment plan, and the project for the 2013 amended Gateway Redevelopment Project in the Village of Lemont. An ordinance granting a variation to allow a residential unit on the first floor of a property located on Main Street in the downtown district of 410 Main Street. An ordinance authorizing the sale and disposal of surplus property. A resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Lemont and the City of Lockport for the exchange of municipal police vehicles. A resolution approving the capital improvement program for the Village of Lemont in fiscal year 2015. A resolution for maintenance of streets and highways by a municipality under the Illinois Highway Code. A resolution approving an amendment with Quicket Solutions for the research and development of electronic citation and ticketing. A resolution approving a downtown facade grant and site improvement for 117 Stevens Street. And a resolution approving a downtown facade site improvement grant for 212 Stevens Street. I need a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Made by Trustee Miklos, second by Trustee Virgilio. Any questions, comments in regards to that? With none, roll call.
Latzer absent, Chaldekas absent, Miklos?
Yes.
Snagowski?
Yes.
Stapleton?
Yes.
Virgilio?
Yes.
Motion approves. Next on the agenda is the mayor's report. One item outside before we do the public hearing. Being a director of Metra, I have the appointment authority to appoint a citizen for the Citizens Advisory Board that meets once a month in downtown, and I will be looking for an individual up and down the Heritage Corridor line for southwestern Cook County to serve on that position. So I'm going to be putting it out here and be looking for applications for folks that are interested in serving on the Citizen Advisory Board for Metra. Next, we have a public hearing for the annual budget for 2014-2015. I need a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Made by Trustee Snagowski, second by Trustee Stapleton. At this time, the public hearing is open for anybody that would like to make comment in regards to the 2014-2015 fiscal budget.
If you don't mind, Mr. Mayor, I know I'm the only person who addressed you at the last public meeting or hearing, but I feel a need to do it today. James G. Lattice, 90 Timberline Drive. And in reviewing the budget, I have a few questions, because in reviewing the budget, and right on the front page of the patch today, it indicated that there was a near a near $1 million surplus in the budget. And I'd like to know what funds those constitute. I mean, the source of them. I see that the operating budget is in perfect balance, the water and sewer budget in perfect balance. So it indicated something to do with borrowing or debt or something along those lines. And I wonder if you could explain to a layman like myself who really doesn't understand how we created that. Or did I misinterpret it?
It was misinterpreted, Mr. Lattice. First, you want to?
Yeah, you are correct. The revenues and over expenditures
revenues, it's about $936,000, revenues are over expenditures. However, that's the entire village budget, and the funds you talked about are in balance, but the pension funds, we have to receive more revenues than we have expenditures in order to, in order for it to balance out for our liabilities and stuff. So we do collect the pension revenue for future payments out. So that is probably, most likely, in order to, I'd have to go through all the funds, but most likely that's the one that's probably collecting more revenues than we are expending out as of right now. Because we
Okay,
have
so
that
it
for-
simply goes into an account somewhere?
Oh,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
We
and then
collect-
you
we
can see
collect
in
the
our
pension-
audits.
Yes,
where
we
we
collect the pension funds, and that's turned over to the police pension board
Mhm.
and their entire group for disbursements.
Yes.
Well, to be honest, that's my main question. I thank you for your answer to
Not a
that.
problem, Mr. Rice, thank you. Anything else in regards to the fiscal budget?
Rick Whitehart, 525 6th Street, Vermont. I just want to share my experience that I had today with the board, the mayor. I met with a man who was struggling. He was a subcontractor for the city of Chicago. And the city of Chicago discontinued the projects with his contractor. And he's now out of a job and being thrown into Obamacare with the wife, kids, grandkids. And he said to me, Rick, he said, I never thought that when I called my city employees who worked for the city of Chicago, that they would just turn me down and not help me find some work. And he said, 3 of them said, look, Don, I've got my $80,000 a year pension. I'm going to Florida at 62 years old. He said, Don, it's a shame that you didn't think of getting a public service job for the city or the state or some kind of government job, pension. You should have thought of that, Don. And Don didn't think of working for his pension. And now here's this broken man who I'm ministering to, trying to help him through his life, because his life has been destroyed by public pensions. It's a reality, and now I'm dealing with it. And so I need now more vehemently opposed to this sports complex than I ever have been, because it's going to include more government jobs. Means more government pay, more government pensions, and more taxpayer burdens to pay those pensions. And so I'm seeing this. It's a reality. He's got to go into Obamacare. He said, Rick, he said, for what I have to pay for it and my deductible, he said, I'm in the COBRA now, but once that's gone, he said, I never thought about the pensions would hurt me. And so now when I hear Jim's question, and I hear our responses, and that we got to play to the police pension, no disrespect. No more needs to be said.
Thank you, Mr. Leonard. Anybody else in regards to fiscal budget?
Good evening, my name is Janet Lewis. I just have a couple questions on the budget. On pages 19 and 20, there is a fund called the parking garage fund,
Yes.
and then there is a parking lot fund. Can you explain those? I didn't know we had a fund for the parking
We
garage.
have a Metro parking,
Oh, that's for the Metro?
we have a Metro parking lot, and then we
Okay.
also have the parking lot, the parking deck, which is being paid off through the canal TIF that will go for the next 20 or 19 years for the building of the parking deck. The Village of Lemont owns the parking deck that the units are wrapped around.
So that's the parking lot,
That's a parking deck,
or is that the
garage.
parking garage?
It's parking garage. Parking
The
lot is
parking
Metro.
lot is the Metro
It's a
lot?
Metro lot.
I see. Now, the parking garage, what do we have to maintain in the parking garage? I'm just curious.
We have the lights, we have the snow removal, we have the elevator contracts, we have general maintenance, cleaning, and such that goes on there.
I'm just curious, because it seems to be a lot of money for just a parking lot. It's
It's a,
a very basic parking lot.
it's a building structure that needs maintenance on a, you know, a weekly and monthly basis.
The budget for the 2015 proposed Lemont plan showed the $150,000 to be spent on more studies. Is that in the budget?
It is not.
So why isn't that in the budget?
It's been removed.
Oh, so does that mean you're not going to spend the $150,000?
That would be correct.
Oh, okay, great. That's all I wanted to ask, thank you.
Anybody else on the? Mr. Cliff?
Kevin Cliff, 3 West Wind. I just had a quick comment. I went to the recent superintendent they were going to hire for the public schools, and I just suggested to them that they maybe look at what the Bureau of Labor Statistics says is the median pay scale for the different rates and scales. And I think that the median's pretty good. You know, it's right in the middle. So. And then if you have your pensions and everything involved, I think that if someone were making the median wage based on the BLS and FAFSA, that they'd be still making a real good living, and maybe we don't have to be the top 9% on a lot of our pay in this town. It's a good town to work at, it's safe, and it's just my suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cliff. I hope you did the same thing as far as the 113 school board. So
Yeah, that's where I was.
Okay. At the actual meeting or at the, just the
When
open
they were
house?
gonna hire this.
Okay, when they hire, okay, great.
Saturday morning, 9 or 11 o'clock.
Anybody else?
Is there an update, Mayor, on the process, whatever that is with the sports complex?
This is the public hearing for the 2014, 2015.
Is there anything in the budget on that? I didn't
No.
know. Thank you.
Anybody else as far as on the fiscal budget? Okay, with none, I need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Made by trustee Virgilio, seconded by trustee Snegowski. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. Real quick, there is really no update at this time. We're working with MWRD. That's between vacations and people being in and out, meetings back and forth between trying to get engineering, legal, and everybody together at the same time has been a challenge in the last 60 to 90 days. Hoping to have something concrete, because they're the ones that hold all, they hold everything in their hands. So
Are they kind
That's
of
where we're
excited, Mayor? Is the MWRD are they like, we want to do this, or are they ambivalent, or are
I will
they?
tell you, the MWRD is behind Lemont doing what we can do on that piece of land. It all comes down to cost and what their regulations are compared to what the facility will pay back. That's the end of the game. You can't go into it if it's not going to pay it back. I've always said that. So that's where we're at right now as far as on the regulations, where the IEPA is at. They'll give us, some indication. They give me some indication on the phone how to go through stuff. We're working back and forth, and again, I'm hoping within 4 to 6 weeks, I'll have some type of direction from them. That's where we're at.
Thank you, Mayor.
Anything else? So next is audience participation. Anything else in regards to audience participation?
Is this still the budget?
No, budget's done.
Budget's done. Okay. Good evening again. My name is Janet Hughes, and I asked some questions at the last meeting, and I received those answers today by email, so thank you. I have another letter that I would like to give to the board today, and I'm going to read that right now. Dear Mr. Mayor and trustees of the board, January 28, 2013, Lemont Village Board approved ordinance O-10-13 for the purpose of financing a Lemont sports complex. The following question and answer appeared online. Question, is the public able to reject the project? Answer, if there is enough support against the project, yes. The process to reject the project has been included on the preliminary notice and listed in the legal notification section of the February 1st, 2013 issue of the Lemont Reporter. In response to that ordinance, more than double the signatures needed were submitted and accepted by Deputy Clerk Linda Molitor on February 27, 2013. The people of Lemont met the requirements to vote on the sports complex referendum at the March 18, 2014 election. 7 months later, CDS Energy submitted a letter to the Village of Lemont. Quote, as you know, CDS Energy has been working on behalf of the village to secure financing for the sports complex proposal in Lemont. We have come to the conclusion that the project is best served with funding from a municipal bonding via referendum with support of the residents of the Village of Lemont. 3 months passed and no agenda item appeared at any of the meetings to discuss the sports complex referendum. December 30th, 2013 was the last day to adopt a resolution or ordinance for binding advisory public question. January 6th, 2014, the board called a special meeting to repeal that ordinance. January 9th, 2014 was the deadline for certification of ballot by local election authorities. Nothing was submitted by the village board to Cook County Board of Elections. The sports complex referendum question would not be on the ballot. Pursuit of the sports complex continues now with the term private financing, yet the identity of any private investor has not been named. Friday, January 31st, 2014, the Chicago Tribune's front page news reported, they want vote but won't get it. Again, congratulations to our village board for the story. According to the article in the Tribune, the Lemont Sports Complex is turning into a case study of how local officials can easily find ways around putting big projects to a vote before taking on big debts. On behalf of Let Us Vote people of Lemont, I respectfully request simple answers to the following questions by the next village board meeting. Question 1, who wrote the questions and answers that appear on the village website under Sports Complex questions from February 2013? Number 2, who wrote the answers to the questions that appear on the same above page Sports Complex additional questions from March 10th, 2014 village board meeting? Those are my questions, by the way. Number 3, why was the recommendation by CDS Energy that the project is best served with funding from a municipal bonding via referendum disregarded? And 4, the Village of Lemont stated the public would be able to reject the project. The people of Lemont met the requirements to force a backdoor referendum on the proposed sports complex. However, the referendum did not appear on the March 18, 2014 ballot. If the people of Lemont can reject the project, how shall we proceed now?
Okay.
Again, if the people of Lemont can reject the project, how shall we proceed now?
Thank you, Mrs. Hughes.
I thank you for your time to answer my questions.
Yeah, Dennis, go ahead.
evening, Mayor and Board. My name is Dennis Bieshke. I live in Lemont Township, but I also represent the Canal Corridor Association, as I know most of you know that. I'm not sure the audience does. I've been involved in the Canal Corridor Association for a number of years, and I didn't think I'd have the opportunity, but since I do, I'm going to take this very quick. On Wednesday, for those organizations that may be involved in anything associated with the I&M Canal, there is the Canal Corridor Alliance Congress is meeting in Shanahan from 8:30 to 4. The village has always, since I've been involved, has always participated in a lot of things with the Canal Corridor because of the opportunities for working together in partnerships, and they're going to be there, charity's going to be there. But I wanted to make sure that others that might see this before Wednesday, if you haven't gotten an invitation, that everybody is invited. We're going to have some tremendous speakers, including someone from the National Historic Heritage Area in Iowa talking about partnerships. We have somebody from the National Park Service talking about the National Landmark and Register Program. Excuse me, we have another person from the National Park Service talking about getting to know the National Underground Railroad Network to Freedom Program. I heard that talk about 6 months ago from that person, and it's amazing that I know we have a whole bunch of opportunities here for Underground Railroad stories and things that have happened here that are not in that national program, and they'd love to be involved in that. So if organizations are concerned about that, or you have a site, it would be a great person to meet. Dr. Deandra Johnson is one tremendous lady that has been working on this program throughout the country. So we're bringing her for that talk. And lastly, for everyone interested in bicycling, it's how to attract bicyclists in the I&M Canal National Heritage Corridor Trails. And that's by a planning and designing firm, Craig Williams is doing that, who's an authority in that area. So lots of things going on. There's going to be a lot of other talks that day also. It's well worth the $30 entrance, which is going to be including lunch. It's at the Four Rivers Park, or Forest Preserve District in Shanahan. If somebody wants to know exactly, you can go to I&M Canal, spell the and, .org, and all the information is there, or see me. And also be on the lookout, because on in August this year we're going to celebrate our 30th anniversary as the first National Heritage Corridor in this country. When President Reagan signed it downtown Chicago, we were the first, and we're going to celebrate that 30th year. So we'll be having other information that's going to be coming out on that, and certainly I know we'll celebrate with Lemont too. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. Appreciate it. You've done a great job as far as helping us and being on the board and keeping Lemont, keeping all of us updated. Like you said, trying to trace down Trustee Virgilio sometimes to keep her on track is a bit of a challenge, but we all have that challenge. So stay with it, and if you need to, we have a chief put an APB out on her. We'll wrangle it for you if you need it. But again, thanks for all that you do for that organization.
Thanks.
Kevin, if I came to retrieve my note, I didn't even see it. So since I'm up here, I just thought I'd let you know that Dennis spoke longer than 3 minutes, but I won't complain. Anyway, I was just curious also, you mentioned about the no real reports on the sports complex. So the inactivity I was kind of curious about, but I guess it's just MWRD and trying to pick these up so I don't lose these too. What percentage today would you say we're at then? Same as before, at 50% probably, or
I would say the
no,
same.
no change?
No change.
Thank you for your answer. Financing, as fiduciary stewards, the trustees and the mayor, I was still curious what circumstance would the taxpaying citizens benefit by paying a higher interest rate by going the private financing route instead of going with the general obligation bonds, revenue bonds, or something like that. So I was just curious what circumstances that would be a benefit or propitious for us. Referendum, once again, I saw in the hierarchy of the village, the residents are on top of the hierarchy, and I really believe that the residents should get their due and have a say on this. Real power sometimes is exercised by not exercising one's power. And I know that legally you guys can do what you're doing, but I really think that the opportunity to confirm what you believe via a referendum would be the best way to go about this process. I have a lot of anecdotal experience recently querying people in town. That didn't sound too good, but and the responses have been mostly what I've been saying up here, but I think to empirically discover if that is true, why not go to a referendum, binding or non-binding, and give it a whirl. You know, even Crimea had a referendum recently. So, thank you very much.
Anybody else? Mrs. Huget, no, you had your 100%, you had your time.
I just want to thank the Public Works Department.
That's, you just did.
Thank you.
Thank you. You just did.
I don't
Anything
know what
else?
it's for, but thank you.
All right. No clerk's report? Village attorney's, I'm sorry, do you have anything to comment on that? Okay, village attorney's report.
An executive session, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Village administrator's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One quick item. ComEd has notified the village that they've allocated funding in 2014 for residents who are facing financial hardship to pay their ComEd bill. There's a couple different programs that they have available. It's available on our website if you want to take a look. One of them is the financial hardship program for assistance, but other would be for a payment assistance plan to flexible payment to push off your payments down the line. That information is available on our website. You can also call 1-888-806-CARE. That's 806-2273. And that's on the website as well. A couple of things, if you do have any questions on reading your ComEd bill, you're always welcome to obviously call ComEd, but you can call the village as well. We'll try to help you understand what you're reading. I know there was an increase in the bill recently, about 30%. That is on the transmission portion of your bill. There's two parts of the bill. We went through this with the aggregation process. You have your transmission costs and you have your supply costs. And the supply cost is what the village locked in with the aggregation program last year. What's going up is the transmission costs from ComEd, and they got that approved through the ICC. So if you have any questions when you read your bill and you see an increase, give Village Hall a call. We'll be happy to try to walk you through it.
Thank you, George. Yes, the ICC granted ComEd a 33% increase in their transmission. So all the money that we saved over the last 2 years in going to electrical aggregation is now back to where we were at before. So a lot of people have gotten new ComEd bills and have been quite shocked by them, and me being one of them. And again, that's the transmission portion, not the power itself. So, and when ComEd, anybody that did not switch, there's only 6 homes that didn't switch in Lemont to the program that opted out. But those 6 homes, when they see their ComEd bill, they're going to get an additional rate on the power as well, because the ICC granted ComEd that power. So it's going to be important to continue to work back and forth. And with me being on the electrical aggregation committee, we will be going and starting the process to go out for new bids on the power portion of it within, I would think, the next 6 to 7 months. So that's where we're at on that. There was no board reports, staff reports. Mr. Pakula.
Thank you, Mayor. I have one item for tonight. District 1 from IDOT will be starting the project next week, April 1st on New Avenue. That project will be going from Lockport, Archer Avenue, heading east down New Avenue to the 355 overpass. That's the county line. They'll be installing some new guardrails, some median rumble strips, and shoulder rumble strips. They will have flaggers out there, so please pay attention to those and slow down and watch where you're going down there, because they'll be down there for 3 months.
Thank you, Ralph.
April 1st to June 30th.
Thank you. Any unfinished business? Any new business? With none, I need a motion to move to executive session, discuss personnel, collective bargaining, and setting price for real estate.
So moved.
Made by trustee Stapleton, second by trustee Miklos. Roll call.
Latzer absent, Jaldikis absent, Nikos?
Yes.
Snagowski?
Yes.
Stapleton?
Yes.
Virgilio?
Yes.
Motion approved, we move to executive session.